Joe, when a big truck or commercial motor vehicle is in a wreck, how do they determine who's at fault?
Well, that's a good question. And really, what's important to answer that question is to understand who that they is there, right? So first thing is first, whenever you're involved into a wreck of any kind, but particularly a significant wreck, and most wrecks involving commercial motor vehicles, big 18-wheelers, are very significant, just based on how large the trucks are, usually the speeds that are involved. You should always call law enforcement. And certainly law enforcement starts their investigation when they arrive on the scene. That law enforcement agency, depending on the nature of the event, for example, if it was tragically a wrongful death, it'll be a state trooper generally, or it could be a county or a city investigator if it's not involving a death, but is a very serious collision on some type of service street, right? Well, of course, the law enforcement agencies engage in their own investigation. But what you need to understand and know is literally from the second that that wreck occurs, the drivers report that back to the company. And the company literally sends investigators to the scene while the police officers are still there. Frankly, while the victims are still on the scene more often than not. And what you need to understand as a citizen, an individual who may be involved in one of these wrecks, is that those people are there to protect the interest of the company and the company alone. They're not interested in uncovering facts from a neutral standpoint. They obviously will have an interest in pointing out to law enforcement things that they think are favorable for the company. It is certainly in your best interest as an individual involved in one of these wrecks or have a family member involved in one of these wrecks to employ a law firm or lawyer to try to determine what happened from your standpoint and your perspective. Rest assured, the truck company has already done that. They have investigators literally on the scene. Those people talk with police officers, they take the photographs that they want to take, they start crafting the narrative that they want to tell. The only way for you to have a seat at that table and a dog in that fight is to have a lawyer or a law firm that knows what they're doing with commercial cases to represent your side of things from the very start of the collision onward. So who determines who's at fault? That can become a complicated issue. The law enforcement makes their report, but ultimately a jury gets to decide who is at fault and whether or not that wreck was preventable from the defendant trucking side of that case. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. And if you have any more legal questions, please feel free to contact the Cochran Firm at 673-1555.